same theatre group. We were working in Munich, and we were doing this black hole show. It was when black holes were very popular, so we thought we'd do a black hole show. And we were working in this theatre which was completely underground, and also the main switch for the electricity was the farthest point from the door. So when we were last out at night, we always used to have to switch off over there, and we were in a black hole till we got out, which came in very handy actually when the governor's missus was lingering about in the box office, but I mean that's another story. Anyway, we've been working in that, and we were generally sort of under pressure, but we had this invitation to go to an art exhibition, and all the other members of the group had been to art school. I hadn't by then, and or teacher training college, and they were all extremely arty people, so they were really looking forward to this exhibition. I thought it'd be nice as well, so we went along because you know you get free drinks in that exhibitions. So on our day off we went to this exhibition, but I mean actually things have got quieter these days. Like I mean my memory of openings to art exhibitions is always a punch up, but I've been to about 6 lately and there hasn't been one at all. I don't know what's happening. There's a calibre of artists ain't what it was. Anyway, we went to this thing and started off sipping the drinks genteelly, and then sort of going round and chatting up just every female in the place, and then things started thinning out a bit, and I ended up with a 60-year-old lady who was very nice, but she wasn't having any. And I was sitting down the end of this long gallery with one of the other lads from the theatre group, and then all of a sudden from round the corner up the other end amongst all these priceless works of art, we suddenly hear our chum, also from the theatre group, going, "Art! Art! I will tell you what is art," and then a series of bangs and crashes. Well, we thought perhaps it's about time we left, so we poodled out, went down the steps and off into town. So I said ta-ra to me mate who I was with, leaving the other guy behind, because he did tend to get a bit argumentative about art at times, and one doesn't always wish to get involved in these things. So anyway, I went my way, and on my way there was a tobacconist I used to go into that was run by a retired Cossack who was a very melancholy fellow. He always used to show me all these horrible pictures of what had happened to the Cossacks that got repatriated to Russia after the war and stuff. And it was a nice summer evening. He'd shut down his shop and he was sitting in the doorway being melancholy with a couple of bottles of vodka and stuff. So anyway, I sat down and had a bit of melancholy with him, because he was quite a nice bloke really. And then poodled back to the place we were staying. Well, it was in one of these strange buildings with flats upstairs and a huge big wooden door downstairs, and it was probably one of our lot. When they come out to go up to, because we're all staying in this flat upstairs, when they come out to go to this art exhibition, they'd slam this huge wooden door across this great big doorway that had never been slammed for years, and nobody had the key to it. So I got the key to the flat upstairs, but nothing for this door, and it was shut. Well, the window next to it was the bloke living on the ground floor. I say ground floor, it was about 7 or 8 feet, the window was about 7 or 8 feet above street level, and he was standing there with no clothes on, letting his girlfriend out the window. So I said, "Oh, excuse me," I said, "I'm staying with the people upstairs. You couldn't just let us in through the window?" So he said, "Yeah, go on then, alright." So I'm jumping up, climbing in through this window, and 2 rather large German policemen come and grab me legs. So he puts the window down, not wishing, as most Germans do, not wishing to have a lot to do with German policemen. So I thought, well, perhaps I'd better let go. So I got down and they said, "What's going on?" So I explained about the door and the keys and all the rest of it. So they said, "Okay, show us some identification." And like everywhere in Europe, you have to have some sort of identity on you. But me, not wishing to lose my passport, always left it tucked away somewhere where nobody'd ever find it, like under the mattress in the flat upstairs. So I said, "Well, it's upstairs in the flat, so I can't do it, you know." So they looked at each other, and I said, "Well, look, if you let that bloke let us in, I can go upstairs and show you my passport. And they said, oh no, but you'll run out the back door. So I said, look, if I could run out the back door, I'd run in the back door and I wouldn't be climbing in through his window in the second place. So they hummed and hawed and said, well, okay, yeah, all right. So they tapped on the window with their truncheons, the bloke opened the window. They said, let him in. We said so, so he lets me in. I go in, go upstairs, unlock the door, mattress, passport, come down the stairs. I thought, well, I'm not going out there again. So I got to this big door and there was a huge slit in it, letterbox slit. So I opened the thing and said, yeah, look, and it was about that wide, you know. And I thought, I'm not putting it through because they'll, you know, like they'll run off with it. So I said, look, there we are, that's me, you know. And they said, bring it out here. So I said, no, I'm not bringing it out there. And they said, yeah, you bring it out. So I thought, well, you know, like generations of Arthur Askers and Tony Hancocks and everybody can't be wrong. I said, all right, I don't know who you are. I said, if you can't see my passport through this bloody great letterbox, I can't see that you're a policeman. I might be giving it to anybody. I said, you put your truncheon through the letterbox and I'll put my passport through. So they did. They must have had Arthur Askey in Germany. So he puts his thing through, I hold one end of it and he goes, that's a look at my passport. Anyway, I get back in, get back upstairs, fall asleep. Well, hours later, somebody must have got the door open. And the bloke who was having the dispute about art in the art gallery finally turns up. And he wakes me up and said, quick, we've got to get down to the police station. So I said, what for, what for, what for? He says, they've got it all wrong. It's in the paper, they've got it all wrong. You can speak a bit of German, go and tell them, I'm not having it, you know, I'm a British citizen. So I said, what? And it transpires that when he was ejected from the art gallery, he came down the steps, jumped off the balustrade at the end and danced down the road on the roofs of all the cars, pulling out the car aerials. It was some kind of artistic protest one, presumed. He'd got nicked and they took him to the nick, fined him on the spot. He wasn't arguing about that, he was guilty. But he reckoned the rate of exchange, because he paid him in English money, was wrong. And he wanted me to go down the nick. So I says, all right, anyway, we go down the nick. And we go in, and I said, look, there's my idiot friend here, and explained the situation. And the bloke said, well, yes. I said, he's just asked me to do it, so I'm doing it. And they said, yes. And they said, well, I'll tell you what the problem was really. And I said, we probably wouldn't have fined him so much. And it just happened to be everything he had in his pocket. I said, but I'll show you the charge, the sheet we have to make out. And they said, but in Germany, we can't arrest anybody without asking him why they committed the crime. And he said, according to this, he said, I don't like Germans. And he said, well, will you tell your friend we don't like Englishmen? So that was it. He never got his money back. But I mean, I think they had got it wrong by about 2 points, the exchange.